Arsenal won Man City 2. Despite putting in one of their best performances against City in years, a last-minute Rodri goal snatched the 3 points from Arsenal. But where did it go wrong for the Gunners? And what tactics did we see? We'll smash a like if you enjoyed the video and subscribe if you are new. And here are the 5 things that we learned from Arsenal 1, Man City 2. First things first is Arsenal 1, referee 2. It's a massive shame in a game where there were so many standout Arsenal players. The tactics were on point. I am here talking about the referee, Mr. Stuart Atwell, who was a disgrace. Let's start off with the penalty in the first half that Arsenal should have had. In the first 10 minutes, Martin Odegaard in against Ederson, gets tackled by Ederson, who doesn't win any of the ball, takes out the player, and no penalty is awarded. And the reason being because VAR doesn't see this as a clear and obvious error made by the referee on the pitch. So maybe this is not the referee's fault but more VAR's fault. But what is the point of VAR when there's a clear foul in the box and it's not seen as a clear and obvious error? And also, if you're going to play those sort of rules, where is the consistency? Because in that second half where they got their penalty, the referee didn't give it initially. It was VAR who intervened. They asked the referee to watch the clip and then he gave the penalty. For me, both of them were penalties, so I'm not going to complain about Xhaka giving away that penalty. But if that was a penalty in the second half, then so was it in the first half. In terms of Rio Ferdinand on the Arsenal penalty claim, he says, with VAR, I don't understand how it was not given. I don't either. This is the whole point of VAR, where if a referee makes a mistake, he didn't see it, fair enough, VAR intervenes and they give Arsenal the penalty. And that was in the first 10 minutes. Arsenal could have gone 1-0 up and then maybe 2-0 up. Instead, when Man City got the penalty, the game was still 1-0 and City were allowed to come back to the game, and the rest is all Arsenal. Martin Odegaard says, I don't think it was a penalty when it could be a penalty for us despite all the cameras. I think it is unbelievable. This goes back to the game last year against Wolves. I've not been this angry at a referee since that game. And it's not just the penalty, but even in that second half when Gabriel Martinelli misses an open goal, yes, I'm frustrated at the player. But watching it back here, look at the position of the referee. He's standing in front of Martinelli, meaning Martinelli has to come around him and take a shot on his weaker foot, and then of course he misses the chance. If the referee wasn't there, Martinelli comes onto that ball on his stronger foot and he has a clear sight of goal and probably makes it 2-1 Arsenal. Now some might see this as a stretch, but look at the other angle as well. He's literally right in front of the player. I'm not sure what this is. Is it corruption? Is it just bad luck? But in terms of today, Mr. Stuart Atwell, I'm going to say this straight as it is, you are an absolute disgrace. In terms of the Arsenal fans, they were chanting, how much are they paying you? And they were chanting 2-1 to the referee. The Arsenal fans are more than in the right to be angry because Arsenal put in such a fantastic performance. Their team was fighting on the pitch against the best team in the league by a country mile. Arsenal were outplaying them, Arsenal were outworking them, and then the referee comes and does referee things. And it played a massive part of Arsenal's demise and losing Arsenal to 3 points. But it's all well and good of me complaining goodbye and calling the referee a disgrace and an embarrassment and likewise VAR. But how does the Premier League now change this that this doesn't happen again in the future? Well, as Henry Winter says here, VAR will not work properly in the Premier League until the quality of the officials is improved. Inconsistency over the 2 Arsenal Man City penalties, both were pens, only one was given. Frustrates fans, players, ruins the game. There are some good refs, but overall the quality is not good enough for elite competition. We are the best league in the world. We've got the best players in the world. We've also got the best managers in the world. Why don't we go out there and get the best referees in the world? On a day where Arsenal should have announced themselves to the rest of the league and the players should have stolen the headlines, it was once again the referee, Mr. Stuart Atwell, and VAR by the way, taking over the headlines. But what are your own thoughts on this game's refereeing performance and VAR? Are you for it and are you against it? And in terms of the referee himself, do you think that he cost Arsenal the 3 points? In terms of your boy, oh my head is so hot, so let's just move on to the next topic. And that is Mikel Arteta outclasses Pep Guardiola. Now this is something that I do want to talk about, because even though Mikel Arteta was not there today because of COVID issues, his team was set up to perfection. This is a team right now, top of the league, Man City, that had scored 17 goals in 3 games prior to their win against Brentford, and a team that has won 110 points in the last calendar year, a country mile the best team in the Premier League. And in that first half, by no over exaggeration, Arsenal had Man City on the ropes. And as Rio Ferdinand said after the game on Man City's win, the fact they've had to nick it speaks volumes of where Arsenal are. It all goes back down to Mikel Mikel Arteta who tactically outdone Pep Guardiola today. It's just a shame the individual errors ruined a near perfect game plan. And of course also a certain referee who's basically a Man City fan today. And in terms of Arsenal's dominance, it can be shown by the XG map for the game. Arsenal 1.1, Man City 1.1, but of course City also had a penalty which massively boosted XG. And here's another stat: Man City registered just 2 shots on target against Arsenal, one of which was the penalty, resulting in 2 goals. The fact that Arsenal were able to limit a team as great as City going forwards to just 2 shots on target in an entire game and 0 on target in the first half just goes to speak of the dominance that Arsenal had in the entirety of this game. And even after with 10 men, Arsenal was still defending pretty well. And yes, City scored their last minute winner, and yes, it was a dagger, but if anything, it was a lucky chance where it was deflected off Ben White into the path of Rodri. In this game, Arsenal attacked well, dominated the ball on certain occasions, dominated spaces most importantly, and limited high quality Man City chances. And as EBL points out, City were outclassed tactically. Arsenal gifted them a penalty, missed an open goal, got a daft red card before defending valiantly for the near entirety of the second half with 10 men, and then City get a lucky, scrappy goal at the death. So cruel on Arteta's men. A lot has been made over Mikel Arteta and whether he is the real deal for Arsenal. But in this game, the way Arsenal was set up in the defensive phase, going forwards, attacking, making chances, the pressing, every single aspect of the game, it was a near perfect game plan from Mikel Arteta. And if it wasn't for Gabriel losing his head or Xhaka giving away a stupid penalty and the referee also doing his job, then maybe, just maybe, Arsenal would have walked out with 3 points and the project would have gone bang. The entire league would have said, hey, Arsenal just beaten Man City and outplayed Man City. It would have been a true statement of intent. Even in terms of Pep's reaction after the game, he says, congratulations, they were better. We faced a team who had 6 and 7 days since the last game. We had 2 days and come back and didn't have a team. That's why we put one more player in the middle. It was difficult, we didn't have the energy. So Pep admits that Arsenal were the better team, but it is worth pointing out, yeah, City did have a game a few days ago, so they are going to be more tired, but at the same time they were also gifted a 12th man in the referee who was playing on their side. He might as well have put on a Man City shirt and gone, I don't like Arsenal. But regardless of the result, this was a game where sometimes performance matters a lot more. And what this Arsenal team would have taken from it is like, listen, we can go toe to toe with one of the best teams, if not the best team in the league, and we can cause them quite a few issues. So regardless of the result, I think the Arsenal players should have their heads held high and they should take confidence that they can go toe to toe with the champions of the Premier League. And even though Mikel Arteta was not there, you have to credit for his overall tactical plan because he outdid his master in Pep Guardiola and it was somewhat beautiful to see. But let me know your own thoughts on the Arsenal performance and also your thoughts on the Arsenal tactics. Moving on to the third thing, and that is individual errors still remain. Now yes, I can blame the referee, and yes, certain circumstances didn't go Arsenal's way, but at the same time we also have to have a look at ourselves and our own players first. And starting off with Mr. Gabriel Magalhaes, who chose to get sent off with that stupid second yellow card. Arsenal have just conceded a goal, just missed an open goal, and then you go and put in that stupid challenge at the halfway line, where Gabriel Jesus, by the way, is going absolutely nowhere. Whether it's inexperience or him being rash or him being over emotional, it cost Arsenal any chance of getting anything in terms of 3 points out of the game. But yeah, in terms of that second yellow card, I can't say anything about the referee, but in terms of the first one, hear this out for a second. According to the Arsenal system manager on Gabriel's first yellow card, he made a remark to the referee, a normal comment, and the player confirmed that he gave a yellow card. I mean, what, can the player now not talk to the referees? Are these referees so prestigious that if you talk to them, you get a yellow card? Who do you think you are, my friend? And he will now miss the next Arsenal game, a Carabao Cup semi-final against Liverpool. But I don't want to go too over the top on Gabriel, but let me know your own thoughts on the Gabriel Magalhaes red card. Now let's talk Mr. Granit Xhaka and the penalty that he gave away. Funny enough, I actually don't disagree with the referee's on-field decision. Now yes, some fans might see it as soft, and the fact that Bernardo Silva was already going down doesn't help Xhaka. But most importantly, it's the shirt pull. If he doesn't do that shirt pull, the ref does not give a penalty. And as EBL points out, Xhaka is a good player, but he's not suited to the current Arsenal system. This combined with the fact that he makes catastrophic errors a couple of times a season means Arteta should wipe his hands with him. It could be argued that he was unlucky today, but the consensus still stands. Since Granit Xhaka's return to the Arsenal team, Arsenal's performances have improved, so it says that Xhaka is somewhat an important part of this current Arsenal team. But for every 5-6 good games that this guy has, he always has his one little mistake in his locker, and we saw it once again today. Oh, and also in terms of that Gabriel Martinelli miss, oh my god, I can't get over that. It's an open goal, and yes, on his weak foot, and the referee might have covered his eyes, but most importantly, it's an open goal. Gabriel Martinelli should always be scoring that, regardless of any situation. And what hurts even more is after he misses that chance, it goes for a goal kick, and directly from that goal kick, Ederson goes long to Gabriel Jesus, and from that, Mr. Gabriel Magalhaes gets his second yellow card. In a different universe, Arsenal score that open goal, and Arsenal probably go on to win that game and take the 3 points. But instead, in the space of a minute, Arsenal once again shot themselves in the foot, all down to themselves. Moving on to the fourth thing, and that's Thomas Partey masterclass. Give me some more positives. Let's talk Thomas Partey. The Ghanaian excellence in this game was on point. In terms of BT Sports, they gave him the official man of the match award for his performance against Manchester City this afternoon. And in terms of his overall game stats, in that first half against City, Partey ranked first or joint first among players on the pitch for ball recoveries, tackles won and chances created, bossing the midfield battle. Up against a top Man City midfield, up against the likes of Rodri, Partey was on fire, and I'd say that was his best performance in an Arsenal shirt since that masterclass against Man United at Old Trafford last season. In this game, Partey proved why he is worth the 50 million euros. This game shows his overall quality, his ability to win that ball back, to get Arsenal back on the attacks, but also in terms of breaking the lines, getting that ball forward, being that ball progressor, and arguably on his day can be seen as a world-class midfielder. But this was Thomas Partey's last Arsenal game for a while, because of course he's now going to the African Cup of Nations, and of course now with the transfer window open, let's see how Arsenal respond. What did you guys make of this Thomas Partey performance, his masterclass in your boy's opinion, and was he your Arsenal man of the match? Talking about standout Arsenal players, let's talk Bukayo Saka, who of course scored the Arsenal goal, which now means in Saka's last 5 games for Arsenal: an assist versus Southampton, an assist versus West Ham, goals against Leeds, goals against Norwich, and a goal against Man City. In terms of Saka, he's great in the build-up, he's great at chance creation, great in isolation, he's a fantastic dribbler. There was times when Man City were double teaming Bukayo Saka because that's how good he is. But in this past 2 games, Saka is proven to us Arsenal fans, this guy does have a very decent finish in his locker. And this game, once again, that lovely bottom right hand corner on his left foot, beautiful scenes, fantastic celebrations. That means Saka now has 10 goals and assists in the Premier League this season. You wanted goals and assists, and this 20-year-old is now putting them on the table. And moving on to the fifth and final thing, and as the gap is getting closer. Now in terms of this year, Arsenal's goal is Champions League football. But let's just say, hypothetically speaking, Arsenal were to pull it off. The road does not end there, and after that it's all about Arsenal somehow becoming team competitive for the Premier League title. And that's where, when you have performances like today up against the best team in the league, the team that Arsenal might have to fight with in the future, the fact the youngest team in the Premier League is able to go toe to toe and cause issues and in somewhat dominate, it was a positive sign of what could be to come in the future. Martin Odegaard after the game won if Arsenal have breached the gap between them and Man City with this match. He says, if you look at the progress from my first game against them until now, it's huge. We are very close to be on their level, and we showed that in a lot of moments today in the game. Odegaard also says, with 11 players, I think we controlled the game. We were leading and I felt like we played a great game. Even with 10 players, we defended well. They didn't create much before that last chance and the goal. We have to take the good things out of the game and keep going. That is exactly what these Arsenal players now have to do. They have to take the positives out of this game and say to themselves, listen, we can go toe to toe with the best team in the league and we can play on their level. Now that doesn't mean that Arsenal are going to win every single game in the remainder of the season, but what it does mean, it serves as a reminder to us Arsenal fans and the rest of the league that Arsenal are more than a capable team. But of course, in terms of Arsenal, the focus goes back to the top 4 race, because even after the defeat, Arsenal remain in the top 4. But of course, you can't forget the likes of Tottenham, West Ham and Manchester United all do have games in hand. The pressure is on Arsenal, but in terms of our next few games, we've got Liverpool in the Carabao Cup, Forest away in the FA Cup, Liverpool away again in the Carabao Cup, and then Tottenham is our next Premier League game on January the 16th. There is a long time before Arsenal will once again play a Premier League game, as Arsenal have 3 cup games in a row. So with that being the case, it gives Arsenal, I guess, a chance to take their eyes off the top 4 race. But in terms of our next game against Tottenham at the new Tottenham Hotspur Stadium up against our North London rivals, who of course we're looking to get revenge after we embarrassed them at the Emirates Stadium, and also in a juicy top 4 race, having won today, this is going to be quite an interesting game. And also in terms of Arsenal, we will be without a certain Thomas Partey as well. But what do you guys make of Arsenal in this Champions League race, and after today's performance, do you guys take any confidence that Arsenal can indeed make the Champions League places? But that is the video there. If you guys have enjoyed, make sure to go down there and smash a like on the video, and also do subscribe if you're new. If you would like to follow your boy on them social medias, then the links will be down below in the description. But that was the 5 things that we learned from Arsenal 1, Manchester City 2. Not quite the result that we needed to start 2022, but in terms of the performance, the Arsenal players can hold their heads high. Anyways, I will see you guys next time in a bit.